If you know anything about American history, you have probably seen this picture. This is Rosie the Riveter. During World War II, when the men went away to war, women filled in the gaps at the factories in the jobs that were typically the male oriented jobs. Women stood in the gap, women did the role. So keep in mind, this is the 1940s. Racism and sexism baked into the cake. So whenever the marketing came out, it had to have a white woman because racism. Black Rosies were there. A lot of times they get lost in the shuffle because racism and sexism is a thing, and black women get washed out of history. Let's talk about the Black Rosies. The Rosies. Black Rosies of World War II opened doors for others. While it seems Americans may be fuzzy about their history, the iconic image of Rosie the Riveter, a tireless World War II assembly line worker, seems firmly stamped on the nation's consciousness. The Rosie term was first used in 1942 to describe the nearly 20 million women who went to work in industry and took over jobs previously done by men. Much like the earlier World War, many men had mandatory military service, which led to a shortage of available laborers, thus, the demand for women workers. Black and minority women were also part of the core of fabled Rosies. An estimated 600,000 African American women fled oppressive jobs and often demeaning jobs as domestics and sharecroppers. So, y'all know how we have to talk about the trajectory of women's wages, the trajectory of Black women's wages. It's not because of the effort of Black women, it's that racism and sexism is baked into the cake of our country. Now, racism meant that Black women were relegated to being sharecroppers and domestics. That didn't mean that we weren't able to do things. That meant that we were barred from doing things. That's the reason why feminism and the civil rights movement were so clutch. Because even when these women went to these roles and worked these jobs, do you think that they made the same amount of money as if a white man was doing these jobs? Absolutely not. Because once again, racism and sexism is baked into the cake of America. We don't hear about these stories. You don't typically see these pictures. So we have to highlight them. We have to pull these women that were obscured from history and pull them and bring them to the forefront because so many people think that the world would just fall apart if men just stopped working. And history tells us that that is absolutely not true. So keep this in mind when people are saying stuff like men are falling out of the workforce, what's going to happen? Women are going to be a stopgap. So this man, Gregory Cook, he is an historian that was talking about and shining the light on the Rosies. So Gregory S. Cook is in the midst of telling these unheralded stories in the documentary Invisible Warriors, African American Women in World War II. He has compiled dozens of audiovisual interviews, perhaps the largest such collection in the world, about African American participation in World War II. So if you're interested, you can look that up. I want to highlight this part where it's talking about Black women were typically sharecroppers and domestics. Black women have always worked in this country. That whatever revisionist history that people are doing, like acting like Black women were trad wives and doing this traditional role, win, win in this country. And even when they got a chance to go be a Rosie, like it says right here, so many Black women did not actually get their jobs until 1944, the last full year of World War II, because everybody else got hired before a Black woman. It's not for the lack of effort of Black women. Black women were not lazy. Black women were out here working regardless. And it took the efforts of other Black women in feminism, in the civil rights movement to get women to the point of where we are today. Some of the pictures that I was able to find of the Black Rosies, you can do Google searches to find some of your own. Check this out, a Black woman working on an airplane. Now, CBS did do a full layout of the Rosies, but they were talking about all of the Rosies. I just wanted to highlight that Black women have always been a part of things, but Black women tend to get erased from history. If it's civil rights history, they typically put Black men to the forefront. If it's regular history, we just get whitewashed in general. So we need to know and understand that we were in so much of a mix. in many different places. It's just that we get written out. And it's up to us to pull these stories out of obscurity and put them out for the public. Anyways, let me know what you think.
Long overdue Congressional Gold Medal will be presented to dozens of women well into their 80s, 90s, some even a century old. The award is going to the surviving workers of World War II. There were some 6 million women in all who performed an exceptional service and earned a nickname that's lasted generations.
And we did it as fast as we could, but I imagine it took, I'm sure, half a day to do a whole side.
At the age of 99, Susan King still wields a rivet gun like she did building warplanes at Baltimore's Eastern Aircraft Factory.
Was it hard work?
No.
And
the gun was light, wasn't this heavy?
It wasn't that heavy. This is a good
That's heavy.
5 pounds.
Mrs. King was 18 and among some 20 million women credentialed as defense workers, filling the jobs men left behind once drafted to fight in World War II.
Tens of thousands of women are already at work in aircraft.
Known as Rosie the Riveters, these can-do women were recognized through an iconic image promoting the war effort, sporting that signature red polka-dotted bandana.
I'm Rosie. I was a riveter, and I worked on the wing section of an airplane.
But once the war was over, while veterans received ticker tape parades and medals, the Rosies were ignored. Only decades after the war did their service become appreciated.
Why did it take this long?
I think there are two parts to that. The first part is because they're women.
Historian Gregory Cook produced and directed Invisible Warriors, a soon-to-be-released documentary shining light on those even more forgotten.
I don't think white women have ever gotten their just due as Rosies for the work they did during World War II. And then we go into black women. Mrs. King is the only black woman I've met who understood her role and significance as a Rosie. Most of these women have gone to their graves, including my mother, not understanding her historic significance.
Mrs. King joins a short list of surviving war workers devoting the rest of their lives to educating generations behind them, including her own daughter, Camille.
Did you have to put pants on?
Yeah, I'd put pants on, but prior to that time, women didn't wear pants in the streets.
The Glenn L. Martin Aviation Museum in Maryland has preserved that collective memory.
We were making destroyers.
Along with another sacred site in Richmond, California, where 98-year-olds Marion Souza and Jean Gibson regularly hold court at the Rosie the Riveter National Historic Park, which sits on the shoreline where battleships were once made.
You know, we lived in a time of history that is past, and it was a good time to live. People trusted one another, and everybody worked together to get that war over with. I mean, everybody did something.
For her, it was a family effort.
My two sisters were welders, and my mother was the spray painter.
Her sister pushed to recognize the Rosies, resulting in an invitation to the White House in 2014 after then Vice President Biden got a letter from her.
As we honor this tribute.
More recently, there is the occasional celebrity treatment, as Jean Gibson enjoyed at a Golden State Warriors game last month. But here's the takeaway. The Rosies were leaders of change.
Well, it gave me a backbone, and you know there was a lot of men who still were holding back on this. They didn't want the women out of the kitchen.
The one thing that I'd like to add to the change of your life is that I wasn't afraid to try new things after that. I got my pilot's license when I was in my 40s.
I went to college, and I got my AA degree when I was 64.
Susan King did too, using her $55 a week factory check to earn a teaching degree. Then her daughter followed in her footsteps.
In my mind, I was not a factory worker. I was doing something to make money so I wouldn't have to be a maid.
Yeah, there were some badass women, they were. And they were all raised to be ladies, which is a term that's fallen out of favor these days. But they were all ladies, but there were some badass women.
Pure and simple.
Pure and simple.
Without them, of any color, where would the war effort have been?
The war would have definitely taken longer to win.
So when the Rosies descend on the nation's capital Wednesday, they bring with them the knowledge of their lifetime of service.
We must call upon women.
And a revolutionary spirit that helped make their generation great.
So why is it important for you to be among those 30 women who are going to Washington, D.C. to receive that medal?
I guess I've lived long enough to be black and important in America. And that's the way I put it. If I were not near 100 years old, if I were not black, if I had not done these, I would never been gone to Washington.
Yeah, the change that has occurred, some 600,000 women of color were part of the 6 million that entered the workforce after men went off to fight. And just think about that. Well, think about everything that they did.
It's also, as they point out, and as you point out in the piece, it's the change that also sparked for women in let me go to college and get other jobs.
Get my pilot's license.
Yeah, really incredible. Great story.